So here we have the first slide is a slide that outlines who all of our staff is that you'll be interacting with. So Jeanette Lopez, as I mentioned, is our program administrator. There's her phone and contact, and she is responsible for the student registrations, allocations, scheduled times, and of course, the ever important ordering of all our merchandise. Robert Smith is our operations manager, and he deals with all the event logistics for the event and all the back site operations. He also takes care of all of our backpack stuffing events that we do throughout the year with various corporations. Suzanne Kramer is our volunteer coordinator, and she registers, of course, all the volunteers, all the corporate volunteers that we have as well. Sandy Whitford is the person that coordinates all the Stitches of Love efforts, which is one of the departments. As you know, we sew clothes all year round to provide to the kids while they come to the event. I do see a note here, and we'll correct it, that Sandy Whitford's phone number is not correct. So her number is the same as the rest of ours, 602-256-9408. That 949 number is actually our fax number. And then, of course, finally, myself as the executive director responsible for your overall event and our sponsorship and partnerships. And we're having a little technical difficulty in advancing the slides. There we go. So the mission of our organization is here. We are all about that first day of school and working with you to help your kids get prepared. And so we say that we help break down barriers to early childhood school success. And we do so by providing new school uniforms and outfits, backpacks, and school supplies for children in need. I see a question here. Okay, Julie, I see that you have posted an answer to the poll question. Thank you for that. Overview, we've been in the Valley, of course, for 51 years. And as I'm saying that, if you could just put in the chat session, if you're brand new and this is your very first time participating in the orientation and as the coordinator for your school, you can let us know that in the chat session. Please, I appreciate that. We're established in 1967. We serve over 25,000 kids. We specifically focus on K through 6 with 260 schools in 30 school districts. Through this event, we distribute over $2 million of retail value in clothing to the community, to all of your students. Our program, we have 3 different programs. We have, of course, the summer program, which is new clothes, new distribution. Our student attire for education, which is our online school uniform sales program, and we'll talk a bit about that. And as I mentioned, our Stitches of Love program. And we have 10 members of our board, 2,500 volunteers, and we have a very lean staff with 2 full-time employees and 3 part-time employees. Great. And you'll see that we have some great sponsors. Our presenting sponsor for this event, our main funder, is the Legacy Foundation. And then Bank of America, Discover, Festival Charities, and Arizona Family 3 TV and CBS 5 are major partners. We have others, but those are our primary. So the event this year is at Grand Canyon once again. It is going to be at a different location on the Grand Canyon campus this year as a result of the arena being used for NCAA events during the summer, the week that we are typically there. So we are hosting this event at the Lopes Performance Center. And that is basically in the middle of the campus. And we'll show you a map here in a few minutes and how your buses and the logistics of getting there. So the setup will be a little bit different, but the experience will be the same. The kids will still get the exact same clothes, still have an exciting experience. It's just going to be in a different athletic facility this year than previous. Total, we impact over 9,500 students at the event, 5,000 directly, and then another 4,500 or so indirectly that receive backpacks and other items through our partnership with the Legacy Foundation and others. And of course, the net end result is we are helping your kids in partnership with you to get prepared for school the first day. And what we do helps deliver self-esteem and self-confidence through the items that we provide to the kids. We're very proud of our work. We've been doing this for quite some time with each of you. And each year is a little bit different, but what we end up delivering for the kids is still fundamentally the same. And that is really giving them a jump start on school, particularly for those families that can't afford these school uniforms and the school supplies to get things going for the year. All right, I see a lot of first-time participants. Thank you for joining us. It's very exciting to have you now with us, so thank you. Wonderful. I see Wilson School District. Gabby, thanks for being with us. Okay. Our distribution event is specifically for Title I public elementary schools. We do have some exceptions, some charter schools that are by invitation only. Back to school, as you know, we try to support 5,000 kids per year at this event. And we do so by breaking up that 5,000, those 5,000 allocations to each one of your schools. Each one of your schools then receives 50, 75, some receive more, some receive over 100, depending on your historical performance. Those students that we ask that you register are students that are on the free and reduced lunch program with your schools. And as you note, I should note that we do not register the kids directly. We don't select the kids. We provide you with the number of students that we have allocated to your school, again, based on historical performance. And then we ask you to select the kids that are most in need. So again, we leave that up to you to select the children, the students that will attend. Each of the kids that attend should be ages between 5 and 11. That means they're rising kindergartners and rising sixth graders. So that's important because we order clothes for that age group. So if you bring a 8th or 9th or 10th grader to the event, they just will not have clothes there for them. So that's very, very important that you guys stick with the age group as close as you can. You should know that we are any school that registers and any kid that participates, they are automatically consenting to photo and video usage for back to school purposes. And basically that's to help us with our fundraising and to showcase why we do what we do and to support you by raising money for the event. So that's why we do photos and videos. Now, the next point is 2 chaperones per school maximum is our desire. We know that some of your school districts require more than that per number of students. If there's an issue with that and you have to bring more chaperones, then you'll need to just send a note to Jeanette Lopez, and you saw her email and contact information on the first page. So just send her a note if that becomes a challenge. The one thing that I do want to emphasize that the chaperones must be school workers, not parents coming in to volunteer because their child is attending the event. We do not permit that. In fact, I'll emphasize this once again for all the new people that no parents are allowed at this event, and that is a strictly enforced rule. The parents will be asked to depart. There is an exception for the foster care groups for obvious reasons. Foster care groups and we only do a foster care day, which is the afternoon of Thursday afternoon. And so all of the schools will have departed by then. And then we have a different kind of, same event, but different kind of process to support our foster care groups. And I should back up and mention that we're very proud of our partnership with our foster care groups, Arizona Friends of Foster Families and Arizona Helping Hands. that we have started to partner with last year. This is our second year inviting them to the event, and so we're very pleased with that. The slides are taking a little bit of time to advance, so just bear with us. Okay, so this is the map of the GCU campus. So effectively, the top left-hand corner is 35th Avenue and Missouri. The top left-hand corner, that's where the buses are going to enter. That's 35th Avenue in Missouri. They'll be coming south or north on 35th Avenue, and they'll get to Missouri, and they'll make a right or left depending on which way they're coming. And you'll see the red arrow line, which is where the buses will drop the kids off. In fact, we actually have a question in my mind now that whether or not that unloading zone right there, Jeanette, do you know, is that unloading zone there where the... Okay, the unloading zone, the red line that you see, the unloading zone coming down right before Building 12 is actually for our deliveries of our merchandise. The unloading zone for your students is where you see the bus bay on the left-hand side in between Building 15, which is the actual parking garage, and the athletic field. So that bus bay is where your buses will drop off the kids. So we'll update this to make this more clear. And then the buses drop the kids off there, and then the kids will just walk across, as you see the little feet there, into building number 12, which is the Antelope Performance Center. Okay, here's what each of the students receive at the event. They receive 2 polo shirts, 2 shirts, 1 sweater, 1 sweatshirt, a backpack filled with school supplies, and also 1 pair of sneakers. They receive 3 pairs of socks and 3 pairs of underwear. And of course, they receive handmade accessories and then also a belt. The total retail value that we deliver to each student that comes to the event is about $350 of retail value. So if parents went out to buy those clothes, it would cost them about $350, if not more. So you can imagine a family of 3 or 4 siblings that come to the event, which happens quite often. That's a significant impact to each of those families. Let me pause here and ask Jeanette, were you making notes about anything? Just on the change of the slide? Okay, great. Okay, wonderful. So those are the items. These are representative of the items. These aren't exactly what they look like. But for those of you that have been here before, you know they are standard uniform shorts and standard polo shirts, and they are delivered. Your students get the colors based on the colors of your school and the school requirements. And so we know that ahead of time. Jeanette works with each of you to make sure that we know that before we place our orders. So let me just mention here as well, over the years, we've placed our orders in a number of different ways. Well, actually 2 ways. We've had you in the past register your specific students online, which you're doing again this year. And we've asked you in the past to provide us with the sizes of each of the items that the students are going to receive. That has worked to some success in the past, but it still remains, of course, a challenge in making sure that the exact student gets the exact size that they registered for. So what we've done is we've gone back to our previous way of doing this, which is we order on a bell curve based on what historical trends. Now that is great in some years, but not so good in others, because of course in some years the kids are a lot larger than expected, and in other years the kids are a lot smaller than expected. So we do our very best to order right in the middle of that bell curve, and we do our very best to try to provide you with those clothes specifically for the sizes for the kids. So just know that that is an ongoing issue for us that we continue to try and refine and get better. Let me just stop there for a second and see if we have any questions. I'm just checking the chat session. None so far. Okay, wonderful, guys. Thank you. Okay, so important dates. These are the dates of the event. July 22nd is the first day of the event, starting at 8 o'clock in the morning. And you'll see the schools and the districts and some nonprofit organizations listed by date there. You'll see that our Monday is our big media day. That's when CBS 5 and 3 TV are there. And we have an awful lot of coverage on that day to kick off the event. It's always a wonderful time, a lot of excitement on that day, and it continues on throughout the rest of the week. And so you'll see that the districts listed here. Now we'll get there. These are also posted online, and we'll get to that in a minute, so you can take a look and see directly on our website what date that your district is participating. If you look at this site and you say, "Look, I don't see my district or my organization," well, you check online, because this is a representation of the schedule that we had posted as of a couple of weeks ago, and this continues to be refined as we are working with each of your school districts. You'll see that on Thursday, Phoenix Elementary School District is first up, and in fact, the day goes from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m. And so you can just run down from the top to the bottom listing in each day to get a sense of what time your district or school is going to be attending. And again, the specific times and dates are on our website. But I did want to mention that on Thursday, July 25th, Phoenix Elementary School District is first up, along with Empower College Prep. And they'll have the entire morning time. And then in the afternoon, once all of our schools, Phoenix Prep and Empower, have completed, that's when we convert to supporting the foster care groups. And so that support goes from about 1 o'clock till 8 p.m. in the evening. I see one new message posted. Let me take a quick look. Okay, great question, Becky. How do you account for students who haven't enrolled by the time we register? For example, if I register now for my current, aka returning students, what about new enrollees that will get between now and the event? Well, that's a good question. I think we're going to have to handle that on a case-by-case basis. Our registration opens on March 25th, and it closes. What date do we have it scheduled to close? We have the registration set to close on May 15th. And so if we have new registrations after May 15th, or new students that register and you want them to participate, then you'll need to just send a note to Jeanette and we can get that worked out for you. Good question. Okay, here are some important dates to remember. March 19th, of course, is today, and this is the second orientation Zoom conference call. By March 25th, I should say on March 25th, we will open our registration online. And again, we take all student registrations online. In years past, as many of you know, we did it by paper, and you mailed it in and all that good stuff. And we are no longer doing anything of that nature. All student registration is done online. On March 25th, again, it does say here we have a Zoom conference call that we are scheduled, but that is incorrect. We're going to hold off on that. And we are going to, we are going to hold off on that one, and we're going to do the third one after the registration opens. So we are projecting April 18th as that date. So we'll update the slide to delete that March 25th orientation date. By May 1st, we'll send out a reminder of your registration that we need you guys to complete the registration. And then by May 15th, we will hopefully be able to close our registration by that time. I see another question. Let me take a look. By student registration, does that mean I need to have the name of the students already? Yes, we do. You'll see that there is a registration form that you can download and use to gather the students' names, and then you can input that information into the system. Typically, how people do it is they download the registration form and they either send it home with the student and request that they bring it back, or you fill that out directly. And then once you've got all your registrations, you can upload. You can then put those into the system. So it's up to you how you do it. The most effective way you do it. You might check with other people in the district on how they've done it in the past and use those best practices as well. Okay, so this is what you'll see on our registration site. And so I'd like to take you to that registration site if I could here now so we can go through it. But you'll see that we have a number of resources there on, and you'll see the link there at btsc.com/registration. So I'm going to get out of the PowerPoint presentation and take you there. Is there a parent flyer in Spanish and English that's already created? Yes, there is, and it's on the website. So let me get out of this PowerPoint presentation for the moment and take you directly to our website. Okay, here's our website, and I'll go back to our homepage just so you know what you're seeing at the beginning. Okay, this is our homepage. You see we're having a gala coming up. Each of you are invited to attend, potentially even have your district buy a table at our event. That would be wonderful. But this is the homepage. To get to the registration section, you go to Programs, Distribution, New Close, New Beginnings, and click on Student Registration. Okay, a lot of you are saying you cannot see the page. Okay, let me see what we can do here. Okay, stand by. Okay, can you see that page now? Wonderful, excellent. Okay, so this is our registration section. And so all of the relevant information is posted here. You see that we have, uh-oh, don't know what happened there. Stand by. There we go, thank you. So if you go to this page, you scroll down, you'll see that the green box here is click here to register your students. If you click there today, it's not open yet. Again, we're going to open that registration on March 25th. We're just putting the final touches on the registration effort, and once on March 25th, that will be open for registration. So what I do want to call your attention to are a couple of things. On the right-hand side, you will see the list of your resources. So I want to just click on the first button, this top button, which is School Registration Report by District as of June 4th, 2018. Why is June 4th, 2018 up there? Well, let's click on it. This tells you, and we'll update this with a new one, but we will post the full registration as it goes per district. And Jeanette, will we do that periodically, or? So we'll update this periodically as the registration process goes along, so you can refer to this posting to see how many of your students have been actually registered versus allocated. So I think that will be an important tool for you guys to use, and it's something that we track very closely. Okay, distribution attendance schedule. So this is the attendance schedule as of March 4th. If you click on there, it brings up a PDF that lists all the details of the schools and the districts. So that shows you by school, and by district, by school, and by time, who's attending and when. School allocation, date and time. Click on that button. There you go. So this is basically telling you how many, what your maximum number of registrations are. So you'll see for the very first one, Academies of Math and Science, not sure what district that is, but they have 25 students to register. And again, we provide the maximum number of registrations by historical performance. And so you guys can appreciate how important that is for us to ensure that we've got good registration or participation on an annual basis, because it does affect your number of students that you'll receive in subsequent years. Okay, there is the GCU campus map again. School allocation, date and time by district. I think we just opened that one up. We'll open it up just again. Yep, that's the one we just saw. Okay, so if you go down to the bottom, the blue buttons are your resources. One is first the student registration form. So this is a form that you can use to either send home, or you can fill this out, and then once you've got all yours filled out, then you'll go ahead and input it into the computer. One of the most important things that we need to emphasize with you this year is that we are being required to track race and ethnicity of the students that we serve for some of our grant reporting process requirements. So if you could please fill that in, we'd appreciate that. But again, you can use this, you can send it home, you can fill it out yourself, however you want to take care of this. But the net result is that you'll need to input this information into the system. I see 2 questions. Let me go to the chat really quickly. It shows that our district has a max of 56 registrations. How is that divided into each school? If you go and you look at the registration form or the detailed school calendar schedule, you'll see how many have been divided up per school. So let me take you back there right now so that you can see. And then, is it possible to change our date? Catherine, that's a question you need to send an email to Jeanette Lopez to see what we can work out, okay? All right, so let's just take you back to answer that question about the specific number per school. So if you scroll back up, distribution attendance schedule. All right, and let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger for you. So let's just take Monday, 7:45 a.m., Buckeye Elementary School District. They are registering by the district there. So you'll have to contact the district coordinator. And I think it might just be Buckeye Elementary that are coming from that school district. So let's take a look at, let's go over to Creighton on Tuesday morning. Or scroll down. She's in Fowler? Okay. Okay, here we go. Here's Fowler School District. So we have 71 total registrations allocated for Fowler School District. And then you'll see that Fowler Elementary has 18, Sun Canyon Elementary 12, Sunridge 19, Toscano 11, and Western Valley has 11. So that's how that works. All right, good question. Let's go back to the registration page. There's a question about our registration forms in English and Spanish. You'll see that we have the Spanish version here as well. You'll also see that we have a size chart. This is to, you can send this home with your parents if you'd like. This is just a general guide for the sizing, and this is what we try to follow at the event, okay? So This is more relevant if we are registering the kids by requesting that the sizes for each child was provided. Since we're not, this is just for informational purposes only, but this is what we use to try and get and purchase the uniforms. Here's an important conversation we need to have, which is on the dental consent form. So we'll click on that. So in order to for the students to receive dental care at the event, we must have this form filled out by the parents. And it's important because if the student shows up at the event and they do not have this, this clearance form, then they will not receive the dental exam. And so the dental exam is about a $50 value to the child, and that's above and beyond the clothing that we provide. So now you see that the value that they're receiving is even greater. It's up to about $450. But in order for us to provide this student with a dental exam and they receive some fluoride treatment and a couple of other items, they must bring this with them. So one of the best practices in the past has been that as the students, the parents drop the students off at the drop-off spot at your school for the kids to come to the event, the coordinators have had the parents fill it out right then, and that helps guarantee an increased number of students that show up with the form. The coordinator can fill this out, but the students' parents have to sign the form. Okay, and that's really important. Okay, guidelines for working with students. Well, I don't need to tell you guys the guidelines. You work with them each and every day, far greater than we do. So this is really posted just so you know these are what we look for and the kind of guidelines that we try to adhere to. So that's really important. Please take a look at that. And we also review this with all of our volunteers. So it's very important that we follow these guidelines as we try to comply with all the necessary precautions that we need to ensure the safety of our students and of course of all the participants in our event. And then this is our volunteer release form. This doesn't necessarily apply to you all, but it's there. So you see that there is a very extensive agreement that the volunteers need to sign to participate in the volunteer activity. Again, it's to really protect the students, protect each of the participants in the event. All right, and so if you'll look to the left of the page here, guys, and I won't take too much more time running through this, but you'll see there are there's more information in drop-down buttons that gives you more detail for each of these topics, okay? So if you will take a moment to go through each of these, you'll see that I just clicked on the transportation and chaperones. We spent a lot of time updating this. If you see something needs to be updated, please by all means let us know. But we try to keep this updated and provide you with additional details as we go through. And you'll see here on the right-hand side as well the PowerPoint presentation we're going through today, and that's available for you to download. All right, so with that, we'll go back to our PowerPoint. Stand by. All right, we're back to our PowerPoint. Any questions so far? You guys are all fantastic, thank you. And we've got about another 10 minutes or so, and we'll get through the rest of this fairly quickly. Okay, so those are all the details on our distribution event. You also know that we have a second program. This is very important for us to mention, to talk to you about as well. Many of you participate in our Student Attire for Education, our SAFE program, which is our online retail store in which we supplement what we do during the summer with school uniform sales to you to help you stock your clothing closets. Many of you receive Virginia G. Piper Charitable Trust funding on an annual basis. I believe there will be distributing their funding for this year in the next week or two, couple of weeks. And then you use that money to buy clothing for your clothing closets. If you don't have a clothing closet, we can certainly help you set one up. If you've never bought school uniforms from us using your Piper funding or your McKinney-Vento funding or any other funding, and you've taken money that you have received from whichever bucket that you have and gone out into Walmart or Target, or you name the organization, we'd like you to consider coming to us. You get an automatic 33% discount by shopping with us. Many school districts have contracts with us that we have even greater, deeper discounts that really supports your efforts. Bottom line is you're helping yourself by shopping with Back to School. We appreciate that. We are supporting each other in our efforts to provide the best clothing and supplies and support to your students as possible. So we appreciate your consideration. Jeanette Lopez also runs that program. So if you have any questions about how that program works and how you spend the money on our retail store and anything relating to our SAFE program, please contact Jeanette Lopez. These are, again, some of the reasons to shop with Back to School for your school clothing, your uniform needs after the summer distribution event. So effectively, the student attire for education, this program helps you fill in the clothing needs for those students that need it after the event throughout the rest of the year. Baltz District has a school that does not use uniforms. I'm having a hard time finding a vendor to accept PO for street clothing. Could you give me some information on where I can go? Well, you can come right to us and we can work out non-uniform items for you as well, okay? So thank you. Is it Jareth Sanchez? We certainly can take care of that for you as well. We do primarily do school uniforms, but we also can provide with non-uniform items. It's very easy for us to do, and we can work with you to acquire those items as well, okay? Great question. Here's a couple of other points that I'd like to make. First is, we certainly want all of our schools that participate in our distribution event to become SAFE partner schools. So while we give out the free uniforms during the summer, we hope that as we do that, you'll become a partner with us during the rest of the year, which is basically registering and using your Piper funds and other funding to buy your uniforms through us the remainder of the year. So we really appreciate that opportunity to be your partner throughout the remainder of the year. And listen, we do want to listen, and we take feedback very well. We take all constructive feedback as it comes. I will tell you, if you have any praise or thanks, you can send those to me. If you have any complaints or negative feedback, you can send those to Jeanette Lopez. She's much better at handling those things, and that is a joke, but we do appreciate any feedback that you give. We are in a constant mode of refining and trying to improve how we do what we do. I'll let you know just real quickly that later on this year, we're going to launch a new part of the program, which will be a buy one, give one program that we will sell school uniforms to the general public. So this will be a second offering through our platform. Schools will continue to shop the way they do now. We are going to open up the process to the general public. And the idea is that we want the general public to buy school uniforms from us as well on a buy one, give one. And so that give one that the individual purchases will go to the student during the summer event. So it's our way of fundraising, raising money, getting the community to support our efforts, and the give one will be given to your students at the summer distribution event. So we're very excited about that. It's in the planning stages now. We're working very hard to get that launched later on this year. So You'll hear more about that. We obviously would want, once that launches, we'd want to send you all the link and information so you can forward to your parents, and if possible, post to any school resources that you have through your websites or otherwise, social media channels otherwise. So more to come on that, guys. All right, as we head to a close, just want to thank all of you for your time. You all hung in there very nicely. Thank you. It looks like most of you completed the poll. In fact, let me see. 20 of 22 completed the poll so far, so thank you. Please, I'll leave the poll open for a little bit longer. It'd be very helpful for us to learn more about your registration process and the challenge. And then if you have any additional thoughts on the challenges of the registration process, or any questions or inputs about the whole process, send us a note. Again, you see our contact information on page number 2. Send us a note, help us improve, help us make this the very best event we can for you and your students. Some of you have not been able to see the poll. We'll see what we can do about posting the same poll to our website as well, okay? So let me just stop there. Any other further questions before we depart? And we've got about another 10 minutes, but if we can wrap up now if we don't have any other questions. I'll wait another minute or two for any questions. I see a couple of private questions which we can work on directly. Okay. If not, thank you all very much. You've been generous with your time. We appreciate your partnership. We appreciate your support. And we will see you in July. Thanks again.